Hey there, this is Malorian, and this is going to be a triple header with me using Darius. Now, while we look at this nightmare that's going to be my first game here, what this is supposed to be was last week I went and I said, hey, I'm going to do Jack Heavy Magnus. Lots of fun, and one of the guys I was playing with, he really liked the look of it. So he said, hey, do you want to do a game like this against me? And I said, that's great. You make 50 points, all jacks. I'll make 50 points, all jacks, and we'll go at it, and we'll see how it goes. Well, while this happened, my other buddy said, hey, I'm feeling bored. Why don't you come over and have a game? So I'd say, hey, I got 50 points. Let's do this. Yeah, and we're going up against Cricks. And this is not going to be a good matchup. But hey, let's go and look at how bad this is. I am up against a Pistol Wraith. There's Ragman, Tartarus, all the Bane Knights here. There's a Bone Chicken. Then he has Nightmare. He's running to Negra. There's all the Scrap Thralls. A nice little Machine Wraith there. Another Pistol Wraith. Then the Concubine, whatever, those guys there. The Scarlock, and then more Scrap Thrall guys in the far right. Mechano Thralls, whatever. This is the mission. What I'm running here is I have Darius with a Stormwall, Centurion, he has his half-jacks of course, then a Storm-clad, a Old Rowdy, and a Hammersmith. Really meant to be fighting another Mangled Metal list, not a list full of weapon masters and all these things. And yeah. Anyway, this is the game where you're trying to get up to 5. You get 1 for destroying the enemy objective, 1 for dominating the friendly zone, 2 for controlling the enemy zone, and 3 for dominating it. And I can't tell you enough how bad this is, because it's going to be hard for me to try and dominate my own because he'll have so many dudes to throw into it. But it's going to be even harder for me to control the enemy zone. So what I'm going to try and do is really do my best to dominate my own zone. I can shoot down the objective for another point, and if I can just hold out long enough, throwing in half-jacks and stuff into his zone there, I'll be doing okay. So really, those 3 jacks on the other side, that's their whole point in life, is just to try and bog up that zone long enough for me to win on scenario, or maybe I'll be lucky and he might not go for scenario. Now, for those who don't know, Darius doesn't have a magical weapon, so the only magic I have in this whole thing is Alcantric Bolt. So with 2 Pistol Wraiths and that, you know, whatever, little other Wraith thing that can possess my jacks, yeah, this is a real issue. And that big, huge bridge in the middle, that nightmare is going to be a nightmare. So let's see how bad it goes. So he goes first, and he's just pretty much rushing on up, and I'm happy to see that, oh look, Denegra's moving towards the right zone. So, my turn, I'm doing my best, put up full throttle, put Fortify up onto the Centurion, crane him up, he moves into the zone, put up my covering fire there, other jacks moving to the right. One of them has already turned into a mine, that's that little other marker that's over there by Old Rowdy. His turn over here, he's really just rushing into my face, but he also goes and shoots into my Hammersmith, and luckily for me, he is just out of range, and so I don't have to worry about him being affected already. Oh, but I do have to worry about this. He comes over here with the little Wraith guy. I countercharge just to get a little bit closer with Old Rowdy, but yeah, there's basically no way I can stop this guy from taking one of my jacks. And look at this, Denegra's in the zone. So clearly he is not going to fall for me just scoring and him not. And issues. He also does a crippling grasp into my Stormclad. And when everything's said and done, it looks like this. So we kind of really just filled up the my zone there. I should be able to empty it. But one of the things that sucks is that one of my little half-jacks that was supposed to run to his zone got knocked down from a scattered Scourge. So that means he can't run into there. So I'm going to have to do my best just to try and fight my way towards it. And yeah. So over here, I go in, and the Hammersmith and Rowdy kill nothing. They just miss everything. And whereas it looked like my half-jack could run into here and actually do something, it wasn't until after we realized, oh yeah, he can't run. So much for that. Otherwise, over here, I do get the job done. I'm able to go into his little bone chicken with the Stormclad and scrap it, and also, Electro Leap over to some of the other things to kill it. I was able to go up there with the Centurion and kill off some of the other things that are in the zone. I have one covering fire. Darius is in there to dominate. So it's going to be 1-to-1 here. And yeah, I just got to try and do my best. So this is what it looks like overall. And then on his turn here, he goes and he vengeances into my Centurion here, which was really a mistake because you want to get as much damage as possible. And even though getting extra vengeance attacks sounds good, because of me being armor 23, it's better off just actually going back and getting charges off. But I'm happy if he's going to make mistakes. Otherwise, over here, he goes and possesses Rowdy. We learn after that you can't possess characters, but it really doesn't matter. Because then Nightmare comes over and he scraps the Hammersmith. So whether he possesses Rowdy and destroys the Hammersmith, or possesses the Hammersmith and destroys old Rowdy, either way, it is bad news. Over here, once Tartarus charges in and all the rest of it, yeah, and he's able to dispel my Fortify, the Centurion goes down. And the only nice thing I can see is that he's all lined up for me to come in and do a sweep attack with my Stormclad and Storm Wall, rather, and kill all these guys. Oh yeah, unless of course I got shot by a stupid pistol wraith, and then I had to give up my action or my movement. Oh, this game. Otherwise, over here, he shoots at my Stormclad, and it's also double shot from the pistol wraith. And this is what it looks like. So I really have no chance to getting to his zone at all. It's now 2-to-1. And all I'm going to try and do is still go for my zone because it's better than giving up. So over here, Darius is fully camped, and he's just going to try and see if he can get all the way across to him. I did score another point here, so it is, what, now 3-2 or whatever? And yeah, so I was able to kill off everything that was in the zone, so that's feeling pretty good, but yeah, now there's going to be a lot going after Darius. And over here, he tries to actually go and make something from the wreck marker and actually fails his test. He also scraps the Hammersmith, so hey, now he has another thing to possess. But it doesn't really matter because after Tartarus and all the other things charge into Darius, he just can't take everything. I mean, he has the feet here going. He did Parasite, all this. Yeah, Darius goes down. And you know what? It was a losing cause. Of course, if this was a tournament, I would never take this list against Crix. But hey, it's one of those things where it's more fun to play it out and just see what you can do as opposed to just giving up. So my buddy, feeling bad for me, decides, hey, why don't we try a Darius on Darius? So he's going to pull out his pink Signar, and here's Darius the enemy. So looking over it now, it's set up for a hardcore type scenario. So in this one here, it's not really for points. What happens is if you dominate the zone, it does 5 points of damage to the character. And there's also kill box that will do the same. So really just forces you to the center. On his side, I mean, I'm taking the same list, but now he has a hunter, he has an old rowdy, he has his half-jacks, he is going to be having, well, 2 defenders, 2 centurions, and also a charger. So overall, my look at this game is, sure, we're kind of the same for long-range shots, but, the storm wall is a little bit better for, not being able to be taken out so I can actually use my feet. And of course, I also have the little shots, which will be good against the little jacks. And I also have the little disruption pods I can shoot out. So I'm actually feeling pretty good about this one. So he gets first turn, and he's just moving on up, putting Fortify on the left Centurion. On my turn, I'm going to come over here, and I really damage this hunter. He is messed up. His gun is down. His Cortex is down. He probably only had like 3 or 4 boxes left. So, even my little nipple guns can do lots of damage to him. Otherwise, Fortifies on the Centurion. I'm playing it pretty careful, staying back here behind the wall. Old Rowdy is there to countercharge if he really tries getting too aggressive into the zone, or swings around with the Charger. And like I said, feeling good. Then his defenders start shooting. So he puts 2 on each of the defenders, moves them up, and where I wasn't getting cover from the wall, but he cranks his dice, And already on turn 2, Darius is down to like 3 or 4 boxes, which is ridiculous. And so all of a sudden now I'm going to have to play extremely defensively. Otherwise, I'm just going to lose via easy caster kill. Otherwise, his hunter goes around to the other side of the building to start getting repaired. He just kind of sets up along the wall there, and that's really all he gets done, which is frankly quite enough. I mean, almost killing the caster is pretty good. So on my turn over here, I just kind of edge up, and I'm able to zap with my little pod, which destroys the half-jack, and also between, I think I can't remember if it was from the zap that I boosted. Yeah, I think that's all it took. A boosted little zap killed the hunter. So 1 jack down. And then all my other shots went into the other hunter here. Oh, sorry, not hunter, the defender. And so the white one, I actually destroyed its gun. So that's not too bad. You can see here I'm making a wall with my guys up in the front. I also have it so you can't charge my Centurion. He's having that going. Old Rowdy really zipped around just to kind of really put on the threat on him. I really debated running him into the pink defender, but with me blocking all that line of sight to Darius, I was feeling pretty good. Plus, I'm actually getting the wall bonus now. So on his turn here, he tries to sneak over to pull off a little slanty shot with his defender. But luckily for me, he gets within 2 inches of the storm wall, and he's engaged and can't shoot. And what he does here that's kind of sneaky, though, is he runs up a half-jack. He has to move over with Darius, crane over the old Rowdy so he can actually be within range. He then charges and does a tremor star attack, which will knock down my wall. Now, one of the things you didn't think of at the time was that with Fortify up, I can actually be knocked down. But either way, a pretty sneaky, interesting move. And once I was knocked down, then the pink one shoots me, and Darius dies. So either way, I mean, this game was something where when he got that hot dice from the very beginning, I was in trouble. Looking back on it, this is something where I should have been more careful. I mean, I'm up against 2 defenders, man. I can't just be stunning around with Darius. I really should have just ran up to the wall or started with my jacks in front of me anyway. So probably a little bit of a misplay on my part. Or like I said, Old Rowdy should have ran around to engage at least one of the defenders. But there you go. These are the games that were before the main match. All right, so looking at this, this is not really mangled metal. This is tooth and claw. It's kind of, when we were talking before, he was going to be doing a Severius 2 tier list with tons of Crusaders and stuff, but he decided that, hey, he just got into Trolls and he wants to try them out. So he's running E-Doomy with an Earthbound, a Axer. He has 2 Impalers there, Pirate Troll there on the left, a Bomber on the far right. He has a Mauler, and then that little Pirate Troll is actually going to be a proxy for a Slag Troll. I have the same cool list, and here's the mission. So this one is, again, up to 5. You get 1 point for controlling a zone, 2 for dominating, and again, I'm feeling pretty good because he has a lot of lights in his army, which I can really shoot down and kind of eliminate. I saw him play a game before where he just assassinated Vlad with his range, and so I know between this, watching that, and getting myself shot and killed in last game, I'm going to be very careful to keep Darius safe. And yeah, apart from that, I out-heavy him, so I think I should be okay. So he gets first turn, and he's just moving on up. I do the same thing, but you can see there, I'm taking no chances. I put Fortify onto the Centurion, I am moving him up, I'm putting on full throttle, and I have a line of freaking 4 jacks going across, and this is where I also realized that, oh yeah, you can't be knocked down, so even those Impalers could go for crits and try and knock me down. The only thing they could knock down would be the Hammersmith, and I'm okay with that. So what he does, though, is he comes over and puts on Snipe onto his Bomber, something that increases the strength on his Impalers, and he's actually able to destroy the Hammersmith. I did not think he was going to be able to do that. Meanwhile, he is kind of spreading out, just making sure that he is in all the zones, and with him having his feet where he gets extra speed, and with that born or whatever, having a foot in the wood, so he's actually super fast. I gotta be really careful for this. But you know, he got the first blood here. I really would have been nice if I would have a hammersmith just to do a little bit of the work. But now I should be able to kill out some of his lights and just start doing the peace trade. So that's what I do is I go into him with my Stormclad, and he does quite a bit of damage, both in hitting him and doing little electro leaps. The Centurion comes up and then finishes off the other Impaler. So that's great news because it's not only 2 beasts down, it also means that he no longer has snipe. Little halfjacks are running into the different zones to not only just contest them, but also if he goes after and just tries to charge for free and destroys the halfjack on the right, then I can do the counter charge, and the 2 halfjacks on the left are really just being there to be in the way so that his earthbound by or whatever that troll there that's in the woods can't really get to my what is it, storm wall too easily. The storm wall, while we're talking about him, shoots at the pirate troll and takes that off, so that's nice. And also shoots out a little pod. You can just barely see it, so it's in front of the bomber, just getting into the way and being a little bit of activation issues. So on his turn here, he comes into me with the Mauler, and he tries, beating me up, but, fortified Centurions are pretty tough. And then he goes and he gets his combo, whatever throw, and throws the Centurion into Old Rowdy, hoping to knock them down. But you can't really because Fortify says you can't be knocked down, and those in base to base can't be knocked down. So even though he slams into Old Rowdy, the very fact that he's base to base with Rowdy means that he can't be knocked down. So didn't really do too much, and I'm feeling pretty good. Otherwise, over here, he goes for this kind of crazy charge to try and kill off both my halfjacks, does a thresher attack, and actually fails to hit both. So a little bit of bad dice there for my opponent. And otherwise, it looks like this. I mean, you also went and threw some bombs at my Centurion, trying to do some damage to it. It is pretty hurt right now. I believe its shield is destroyed. But overall, when in his counterattack, he didn't destroy anything. And I am in a pretty good position to destroy things back. He is up 1 control point, but I should be able to kill a couple of heavies now. Or I would have been able to kill some heavies if I didn't freaking suck. I'm coming in here trying to hit him, and I need like 5s or whatever it is. And out of all my attacks, I miss, I believe, all of them. Or maybe I hit 1 of them. It was pretty ridiculous. So whereas I thought this Mauler was going to go down this turn, what can you do? If you just can't roll those 5s or whatever it was I needed, Mauler's going to live. Otherwise, on the left side, those guys are not going to live. So the Earth, whatever, Troll, and the Axer are both killed by the Storm Wall. I also go and put a little pod again in front of the Bomber to trying to really lock it down. It's now also engaged by the Storm Clad, so it can't just be hucking bombs at me. The Centurion went up there, went and did some stabbing. I actually did my feet here, so I didn't really get too much out of it. I could have fixed up my Stormclad and my Centurion, but then I had to have nothing in the right zone. So I had to just fix just the Centurion. I'm going to score on the left zone, so it's 1-1, and I'm still contesting on the right. On his turn here, he's going to have some pretty bad luck because he didn't quite manage his Fury. And yeah, the Mauler here is going to freak out, do 1 big hit to Centurion, and missing that activation is really going to hurt his chances. So what he tries doing here, oh man, I feel like a jerk with this happening, but he comes in trying to scrap my Stormclad with his caster, destroys the little pylon that's in the way, and the Mauler's trying to get over here to throw his bombs to get Darius, just trying to like a desperate last turn caster kill. And here he is trying to be so careful just to try and make sure he's close enough but not engaged, and then like countercharge from Old Rowdy, and it's just he's probably gonna key my car. And so after that, this is what it looks like. I mean, this lag troll tries to go after Darius, but there's nothing really he can do. And I score another point, so it's 2-1. So on my turn, there's no reason for me to be a jerk. I just go for the scenario win. Storm Wall comes over and almost kills a slag troll. The Centurion takes a free strike and finishes off the troll. And then Darius runs in to dominate. I score on the other, and that's a win. So, yeah, I mean, looking over the three games, I really don't feel bad about losing the first one because that was a horrible matchup. The second game there, like I kind of said, I just have to be a little bit more careful with Darius. What I actually did is during this day here, I picked up another Sentinel because probably something I should be doing is taking out the Hammersmith and putting in two Sentinels. I mean, all of a sudden then, not only am I protecting Darius, but that gives me a lot of little shots if I ever am against an infantry army, and they can be protecting my things like the storm wall from, the pistol wraith shots and all that stuff. It's just a lot better, for 8 points than the Hammersmith. So either way, there you go, and I hope you liked your dose of Darius. Okay, bye.